All right, now we get to do the fun part. Now we get to actually make our haplotype network, the thing we've all been waiting for. So we have our pop art window open now. We imported our alignment and our traits previously. Those are both filled. So now to make our network, what you want to do is go to this top navigation panel for pop art, click network. There are a bunch of different ways to make a network, and we're not going to go into the details here in this class. For our purposes today, choose the integer nj, which stands for neighbor joining. We'll use this particular method to make our network. You can keep the defaults as is, click OK. And now, hey, look, we have a network. So let me make this smaller. And if you want to view the whole thing, you can zoom out. So this is our network. Let me move it so my face isn't in the way. So remember, when you're looking at these networks, each circle is a haplotype. The bigger the circle is, the more individuals have that particular haplotype. And on the bottom right here is our legend, where it tells us the different colors that correspond to the different geographic sampling sites. Right now, not to be mean, but this is a little bit ugly. So it's all black and white, and actually some multiple populations have the same color, which isn't helpful in helping us differentiate things. So what we want to do is, if you go back up here to the top and click this little colorful dot icon, that's change color theme. So if you click on that, you can pick a different color theme that you like better, whatever your personal preference is. I personally like this one, so I'll click that and then click apply. And now we have these different colors in our network. So right now, each of the different colors corresponds to, like I said, a different sampling site. But remember, one of the main things we're interested in this lab is whether the individuals that were the two different species of columbine, Formosa or pubescens, whether they have differentiation in their haplotypes. So what we can do then is we can actually go into this legend and manually change the colors. So let's start. The bottom four in our legend are the ones that correspond to, I think it's pubescens, but it's one of the two species. So what we want to do is change those four bottom legend colors to be the same rough color scheme, so it's easy for us to identify when looking at our haplotype network which individuals on that network came from which species. So what you can do is right click on each of those colors, say change trait color. And I recommend going to this grayscale slider here, and I know we just changed everything out of black and white. I was mean and said it was ugly, but if we revert back, at least for one of the species, to this grayscale, it'll be really easy for us to differentiate on our network which species are which. So for this first one, I suggest clicking the darkest black, okay, and then just move up here and change each of those to a different variation of grayscale. So for the next one, I would choose 25% brightness. Okay. Keep going, 50% brightness, and then Morgan Pass for the last one, 75% brightness. So if we look now, what do we see now on our haplotype network? Is there differentiation in these different species? What do we think? I'll let you answer that and think about it for your lab reports. But now it's really clear for us to be able to see which of these haplotypes are found in one species versus the other. You can continue to play around with the other locations if you want. Like if you wanted to change everything else to shades of red or purple or whatever, you're welcome to do that. You don't have to, but you can. Another thing I like to do is, right now, I don't know about you, but I can't read this legend at all. So if you go back up to the main menu, you can do edit and then set legend font. I prefer to change the size to about 24. Arial is a readable font for me. You can choose a different one if you want, and I'm going to keep it regular typeface. So if we do that, now our legend is actually big and you can read it. Again, I'm going to try to get rid of these weird symbols at the beginning, but if it's there for you, don't worry about it. It's fine. So now we have our legend that's readable. It gives us even an indication. Remember, those bigger circles correspond to more samples, so it gives us an estimate of what a 1 sample circle size is compared to a 10 sample circle size. We have a readable legend. We have our haplotype network that differentiates the 2 different species. And what we want to do now is export this network as a graphic so you can save it for future reference, put it in your lab report. If you're really proud of it, you can put it on your fridge. I don't know, whatever you want to do with it. So what we'll do is go back now to File in that main top window and Export Graphics. And we'll change to a PDF. That's the best formatting. If you end up doing things with it later, it's the best quality. I will put it here in my molecular ecology folder. If you have a lab folder, I recommend putting it in there. And I recommend changing it, what did I say to call it as? I said to call it BIO178 Lab 4 MYB12 network. So I will do that. Maybe. Okay, it's not letting me copy and paste. But we will call it BIO178 Lab 4 MIB12 network. All right, so that's what we want to call it. This is the folder where we want to save it. We want to save it as a PDF. And now we click Save. And now we should have our network saved. So if I now go into that folder, now I have our exported network. And so this is just like what was in the pop art screen. You can insert that into your lab report. So congratulations, now that you have completed the lab, you know how to import data into pop art, you know how to create a haplotype network and customize it and export it. So now that you've finished, go ahead and type up the lab report, so answer just those few short questions. And just as a refresher, or if I haven't explained this previously, the main idea for those lab reports is to give you some extra practice thinking through what you did. And that's why I'm so adamant in those questions. I say, what did we do in your own words? When you have to put it in your own words and think about it, that makes sure you understand what you did and then helps you recognize too if there are any parts where you're not quite sure what we did, because that's important for me to know too, and then I can help you in the comments when I read through your lab report. So again, hopefully you thought this was kind of fun. I personally like haplotype networks because they're colorful and I like seeing colorful things. Colorful plus science is really interesting for me. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, and go ahead and continue with the rest of the lab module.